everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tech Talks with NASSCOM Insights. This is the session 4 of the roundtable discussions that we are having on the recently launched NASSCOM Strategic Review at the NTLF 2022. In this session, we will be focusing on the industry outlook and the future outlook, along with the emerging technology trends, the technologies that firms are prioritizing for the next 3 to 10 years. Joining me today are three of my fellow panelists, Vandhna, Senior Analyst ER&D NASSCOM Insights, Namita, Research Practice Lead Digital Transformation at NASSCOM Insights, and Ashish, Senior Analyst Startup and Product at NASSCOM Insights. Welcome to three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raf.
According to NASSCOM Strategic Review Report 2022, double-digit revenue growth will continue in FY 2023. Business priorities will likely focus on employee engagement and new business opportunities. So Namita, I want to understand from you, what are some of the CXO priorities that are upcoming and what are the new trends that we are most likely to see in this financial year?
Thank you for asking this very, very important question, Naman. So NASSCOM conducts an annual CXO survey sometime in the first 2 months of every year. And this survey is across both the supply side and the demand side. The idea of the survey is really to get a pulse of how the various CXOs are thinking about investments, what their outlook is towards the business, as well as technology investments and technology returns. Last 2 years, we've kind of seen a major upheaval, right? 2020 was a shock. 2021 was about resurgence, resilience, and kind of bringing the business back. What we've seen in 2022 is a little bit of a sense of settlement. What we've seen as CXOs globally are still keenly watching how the pandemic shapes, but they are moving beyond the pandemic to kind of shape the next 3 to 5 years worth of business priorities and strategic investments. There are 3 things that CXOs have been prioritizing, and I think that will continue. The first and the foremost is related to employee health and safety. The second is about digital transformation, and this is a big one, right? Because this kind of underscores everything. And third is a much greater, deeper connect with the customers across the value chain. So when we look at how CXOs will put their priorities into focus, we also have to see the year 2022 with its economic outlook. So in Jain, IMF came out with its economic outlook for the year, and it was a bit sobered down compared to 2021. Yet it was about 4.4%. I think the Russia-Ukraine crisis will kind of offset it a little bit. Yet CXOs are pretty bullish about the way they want to continue investments. So what are the pillars, for this new normal that will shape up in 2022 and beyond? First, I think we spoke about it, which is balancing the priorities towards employee health and safety, whether it is about employees across a hybrid work environment, whether it is about employee productivity in an offsite model, whether it is about employee mental health and engagement. I think a lot of these are now not fringe conversations. These are mainstream conversations. These are priority conversations. And we'll see a lot of technology helping CXOs kind of shape the narrative here. The second is about tech spending. What's interesting about tech spending is that it's getting a lot more focused. So what are some of the areas? Customer service, supply chain, sales and marketing. These seem to be the areas where CXOs will put a lot of focus in the near term, very rightfully. But does that offset R&D? Certainly not. In fact, when we went deeper into the analysis, we found that 1/3 of the tech CXOs are probably planning about 10 to 20% higher R&D spend in 2022. What that means is that there is a robust demand for innovative products and solutions. Third is about the end user enterprises who have taken on in a big way the whole digital transformation agenda. In fact, what we are seeing is a lot more tech talent hiring by the end user companies, and that's likely to go up significantly. about 30% of those respondents said that they would increase their tech talent by about 15%. And that's significant, given that we've seen varied levels of momentum towards tech spending and tech talent hiring on the end user side. And finally, if I have to call it the fourth pillar, is where will CXOs really put their digital pennies? I think a given is infrastructure and managed services. That will be significantly much more in demand. That's the base, right? A lot of tech companies are probably going to bundle consulting services with it. The second big shift is the platformization of BPM services. And we are beginning to call it BPM 4.0, probably beyond, right? The third is data analytics platformization. I think that will sink in a big way as a foundation. And it'll be important to build any sophisticated automation on top. And finally, if I have to talk about where the ER&D companies are putting their bets is on the engineering cloud as more and more software-led business models come to the fore. I think one more that I'll add is, hybrid work will create the requirement for a lot of collaboration and productivity tools. So we'll see a lot of SaaS companies experiment with that. But I think those 5 areas would be what we want to watch out for in terms of tech investments going forward.
Right. Interesting. So, Vandhna, I want to ask you, because this is something in continuation to what Namita is saying. Any, if you can share some kind of a light on the HR priorities, for the future, because that's where the majority of the hiring is going to come in from. So the HR priorities, that's the term that I want to focus this particular question to you.
Sure. Thanks, Naman, for that question. So, for all companies, whether it is a small company or a medium company or even large MNCs, as Namita rightly pointed out, employee wellness and safety is of prime importance. And post-pandemic, in the companies, employees are coming back, whether it in a hybrid mode or whether working from home. The HR in these companies is putting a people first, employee centric approach for talent management as well. So, safety, security of the employees is of prime importance. There are no two ways about it. And other priorities which the companies are also focusing on is also establishing very agile frameworks so as to tackle any unseen challenges that might emerge in this volatile and uncertain world post the pandemic. And the companies will continue to expand to newer geographies, and they will also streamline the supply chain, which remains a priority for companies. But as it was also previously pointed out, that enveloping all of this is the massive digital transformation, which we have seen speeding up in the last 2 years. And we'll continue to see this digital acceleration as well, and which would be focused on cloud and cybersecurity and automation, especially for manufacturing sector. So these are some of the priorities that we can see. Yeah.
Right. Ashish, I think it's fair to say that no future outlook or the emerging technology discussion is complete unless we focus a little bit around the tech startup ecosystem in India, because that's been the talk of the hour all through the FY 2022 that we saw. So what can we expect in FY 2023? And you can be, if you have any, again, I would say that if there's anything specifics that you want to share, area wise, you can please, our audience would be more than interested in listening to all these things.
Definitely, Anavan, I think you said it rightly that tech startup is the top of the hour, and without startups, I think we can't talk about any ecosystem, because it's the tech startups combine innovation, they combine the digitization. So all the things can be a bunch can be called as a tech startup. And the way the Indian tech startup ecosystem is shaping up, we can expect many more fireworks and record setting in 2022 also. And now, starting with the number one parameter, I think which we can expect in the coming years, the investments, so which is one of the key drivers of the tech startup ecosystem. So we expect that the investment momentum to continue and sustain throughout the 2022. With over $24 billion investment raised in 2021, which is 3x compared to the last year. A slower than anticipated activity in 2020 was a key contributor in the jump. We anticipate investors will expect startups to deliver results on the basis of the previous funding rounds. Another important point we expect is that the investors to continue focus on the seed stage and late stage investment. So these two things will continue to happen in the investment area. The next point is about the IPOs. So as we know that 2021 was the year of unicorns and IPOs. And if you talk about the 2022, we expect 2 to 3x growth in the IPO filings and listings. IPOs filings for 2022 suggest that we will soon cross the 2021 reference point of 11 IPOs. So with the retail investors embracing new startups, global macro environments, alternative investments, and exits options, we anticipate having at least 15 to 20 startup IPOs by the year end. Market might be a little speculative as of now due to current global uncertainties, but we expect it to normalize soon. Another important area to highlight is the merger and acquisitions. Expect that M&A activity will continue to accelerate throughout the year. M&A is one of the best options for a mature startup to grow and expand this business. So we have seen that in the M&A activities, corporates as well as your well-funded startups are entering a lot. So because they find it the most easy way to grow their business. So we expect that product and market expansion would be the high priority for the well-funded startups and corporates in the year 2022. Demand for inorganic growth should maintain and possibly accelerate and the deal pace throughout this year. The next is the one of the key buzzword which people talk about, the unicorns. Though if you talk about the numbers, predicting unicorn numbers is always a challenging task, and frankly, many experts have failed in this. But we are quite optimistic here also. Since though we are recovering from the pandemic and the supply chain and overall demand has quite settling down, so we anticipate that the overall unicorn pool to be in the range of 95 plus 100 plus by the year end. We have a strong pipeline of potential unicorns across sectors, and early sign indicates that mega rounds of funding will continue. So we expect more unicorns in 22 also. The last but not the least, we will witness a new breakout sectors beyond our traditional favorites. The key highlight of the past year was the diversification of the use cases and the opportunities that entrepreneurs were chasing around these 25 plus industry sectors. We will most likely witness sectors like agri-tech, gaming, blockchain, Web3, automotive, industrial manufacturing, B2B, commerce reach in inflection points and breakout. At the same time, we expect consolidation in the legacy sectors like EdTech, BFSI, consumer tech, and enterprise tech due to the strong tailwinds. So all in all, we expect the strong momentum for the tech startup ecosystem to continue. And this momentum will be felt across all areas like funding, unicorns, IPO, M&A, etc. So a good year, I look forward here for the tech startup ecosystem.
Right, interesting. And I think getting some numbers from Ashish is always exciting, apart from the reports that are going to come in. So I think thank you so much, Ashish, for sharing that. And with this note, I'd like to thank all the three of you. So with this, we conclude this session 4 of the SR Roundtable discussions. Thank you so much to all the panelists for joining us, Namita, Vandhna, and Ashish. And we look forward to more discussions with you. So till then, to our audience and our viewers, I would just say, please share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, NASSCOM Insights. Please stay tuned for the upcoming sessions on the SR Roundtable discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Naval.
Thank you so much.